Hi everybody, welcome back. As I said last time, we're going to do some track laying. Just one small piece, how I do it, and then I won't bore you again. But it's just how I do it. So let's see where we're going to put it. Okay then, this is where we're going to put the piece of track, from that three-way to the double slip. This three-way is on the end of my up and over return loop for my engines what go clockwise, and I want them back either to go anti-clockwise, which would take it down that line, or this one to go through the station, the anti-clockwise station, or it can come down this line onto the double slip and into a dead end station line, a terminus line, which will take a DMU. Or they can come down the line onto that double slip and across this double slip and go into this line here, and this line goes round, and then they would back in here if they've got goods trains. So I want to reload, unload, or whatever. If I've got a goods train going round the anti-clockwise, all they would do is they'll be coming down here, they would come in over that crossing, over this double slip, that double slip, and in there that way. So both of my lines, even the clockwise, which is going the other direction, but once it goes on the up and over, which is over here, that's the up to the up and over for the return loop, and comes down here, they both end up going into the goods yard down there. And then I will have a shunter ready to take over. The main engine will uncouple, go into the engine yard to be refueled, and there'll be an 08 ready to back in, to back the stuff in to the goods yard. The piece of track I'm going to do is from here to there to complete this segment. And why I've put that in is so if there is something stored on the through line, which is this line here, and my anti-clockwise trains are running through the station, which they'll come across here onto that double slip and down there, I can still bring a goods train from the clockwise down the up and over and into there and in. So my anti-clockwise will be going that way, and the clockwise goods train returning to the goods yard will come here and go in, so they don't interfere with each other. If by chance there's coaches in the station and they're running through the through line, then it doesn't matter which one I go down, that one or this one. So I have a piece of track, as it turns out, an off-cut, and it's only just a bit big, but I'm going to slightly bend it away from here and in. I won't show you how I bend it, you know how to use flexi track. just for a little pointer, if I can get it into focus, those gaps in the sleepers, you generally bend the main bend so it's going that way round, and that has a slight curve on as it is. It bends better and holds better. That's what they recommend. Do Peco to bend it towards the gaps in the sleepers. So what I'll just do, I'll just measure the track, just shape it, see what I want, and then I'll come back to you with the next piece. Okay, so that's the piece of track, cut to length and shaped. Now, there's all these sort of flash cutters to cut track. I use a basic pair of wire cutters. And if I get this in focus, this is unfiled. That's the cut it gives you. Now, I always file them anyway. It helps the actual fish plates go on. Longs, when you cut them, you put the flat edge to your piece of track you want. Because what it does on the other piece, what comes off, it rounds the edge off a little bit. So it's not much good. I cut that and I'm going to give it a little file on my trusty piece of wood. This little piece of wood, which is that big. That big. It's not much. Bit of 3x2. It's an offcut from my timbers, what I use for my frame. I do everything on that. It's enough. And what I will do is I'll just file the ends. Just file any burrs off the ends of the track at both ends. And it just, as I said, just helps the fish plates go on. And what I've done is I've just cut the sleepers off the back so it allows me to cut the rails. Now you'll notice that that one is slightly different length. There is a reason for that, because when you bend it, it actually changes, makes one longer. And because this bend here, this bend is going against the way they want it to, so it doesn't stay. So when I pull it back, those will get in line. So I'll get my some wires to solder on, because I always solder every piece of track, and I'll come back to you once I've cut the lengths of wire, and I'm going to just solder them to the track. Just remember what I said about cutting the wires. I use this machine as I showed you in a video, and if I can make it come in and focus, just a minute. Yeah, so I use that machine, and just so you can see, just remember to leave that piece on the end when it pulls, and then twist it with that on and pull it off, and then the wire is all twisted together, and it doesn't take as much as doing it with that off and getting hold of the wire. Okay, so my soldering iron. At the moment, it is very mucky on the end. Just one little bit of silver. I can get it to focus for you. On the very end. And it needs to be clean. Just one side. And it helps the solder stick to the iron. So I clean it. Now I clean mine. I clean it with this stuff. With that. And a couple of rubs, and then rub on my damp cloth or sponge. You see how it's coming back. It's not in focus. So see how it's coming back on one side. It is actually coming on the other side as well, but not as much as that end. But I'll keep doing it. Hold on a minute. It's turning up a bit. I have variable control from off to maximum on my soldering iron, and I find the two deepest reds, if it's on the middle of them, that does the job for me. I won't bore you with any more. Just I'm doing the same thing, cleaning it. So I'll get back to you. Okay, I spent about a minute on it, and it's a lot cleaner as the end. There's just one little black mark on it, but as a solder that would clean. So tinning my wire first. I always pull the solder out a bit. Hopefully you can see it, which you can't at the moment. Get some solder on the end of my iron and just run the wire up and down, and that's tinned. On the other end, and so is that one. I'm only letting it drop on that card because when the hot solder lands on my insulation, it melts it and soaks in, but I mean it's not an issue if it does do that. That's it. A wipe, and the other end of my 4 wires. Well, my 2 wires, 4 ends, shall I say. That's it. So then I do the back of my track, because as I've said in the past, just bring that in so you can see. Sorry about the shakes, that's because I'm moving it. Just put a piece of solder on the back of the track ready. That's that one. And that's that one. Let's give it a cool down, give it a blow. Then the only other thing I have to work out is which side does my wires go on. So if that's my track going to be laid there, I have to have black on this side and white on that, so they all match up. It's because black is on there, runs down that full piece of rail and will join onto that, so it needs to be the same. But the white is independent because that frog on that side of the double slip will have an insulated fish plate, and so will that part of the frog there, because sometimes it has to be black, which is, I don't know which way around it is, negative, and sometimes it has to be white, which will be the positive, whichever way around, but I just work in colours, black and white. So we'll now solder the white onto this side, nearest to where I'm working, and I just bend the end of the wire just to make it a bit thicker, lay it over the solder what's there, which you cannot see if I put my hand there, I'm afraid. Let me have a look to see if you can see. No, you can't see, and God forbid if I try and do it the other way around, but we'll have a go for you. Heat it up. It has connected. It's not very good because I've done it the wrong way around. What I'll do is I'll just turn you off and I'll do that properly, and then I'll show you when I've done it. So I've done my bit of soldering on the back side. The other thing I forgot to mention, I just put a piece of solder on my iron before I touch the wire and the track. It generates more heat and it's quicker. So that's underneath, so you virtually don't see it, and I'll put a sleeper in and it'll just look normal. So I've put my fish plates on now. I'll drill some holes in the board to get the wires through, and I'll come back to you. Just here is where I've drilled, and as you drill, as you know, it erupts, brings all the stuff to the top. Now, due to I can't just get a brush in, what I do, I get some tape and I just stick it to the tape until I get it all. I might have to use 2 bits of tape, but it sticks to the tape. Chuck that in the bin, get another, and get it all up. If I need another piece of tape, I'll just get another. I'll just use masking tape because it's cheap and cheerful. It does it. So that's ready for my wire. My wires to go through the holes and the track to be laid. Right, you can see some white tabs down here. Here, there's 3. Now what I do with my track, because this is insulation, I actually stick it down with double-sided tape. that's stuck already to the board. I've just got to pull them off, and then it sticks to the back of this. My sleepers, and when I put the ballast down, that will help even more to hold it. This is like a temporary fix. The ballast sticks to this, the glue soaks in, and everything will bond together, and this just holds it. I did, when I first started, I did stick it down with a solvent, what was a glue and a sealer, and it worked, and I could pull it up, but it stuck like anything to the actual installation, and I have to scrape that off quite firmly to get it through. So I'll just put my wires through first, through the holes. Before I drill my holes, I always make sure that there's no pieces of timber in the way, what I can slide out of the way, like I showed you in the boards and framework. So I'll push this side on first. Insulated bit isn't in yet. Come on. Come on, baby. That's it. It's on this time because I can feel it. So I'll pull my tab, pull the white paper off, which usually allows me to do it first time. That's it. Just fold it over, pull it off. I don't know if you can see the actual clear tape, but it does do the job. Pull that one off. So I'll just fold it over and pull it out of the way. And I'll do this one. Like that. And then all I do, like everybody else does, is feed this into the push it in, make sure that that's all right, which it feels like it is. And then once I've got the shape, I'll just move it to wherever I want. Pull the wire through from underneath, out of the way. And press it down. Just one other thing you have to do. When the sleeper overhangs, where the shoe would clip on to hold the rail in real life, and there is like a little plastic shoe to hold the rail, you have to cut one side off so they don't interfere with each other. And all these gaps I've got, I'll be pushing sleepers in to fill them, to make them look like it's real. So what I'll do now is I'll put the spades, those spades, onto the wires I poked through, connect those connections to my bus wire, clip them together, put the power on, get an engine and show you run it over. So just hold on. So just out of view, maybe just in view, up there is my class 68. That has come round from my clockwise, from the up and over. And if I wanted that goods train back into the goods yard, this is how I do it. Goes on the up and over, which is over here where the stick is, goes up there all the way around, and it comes down. And just to show you that what piece of track works, I'll send it over. So it comes down, over that new piece of track, over that double slip, and into the loading area where I load my goods wagons up and ready for shunting. So that's all the way in, and it would then back up on a point I've got just under the camera. And like I said, this area here going off down here into this area would be my goods yard on this side of the river. So that's how I do my track. So that's it really. That's as simple as it gets. The wiring was quite simple because on this side here, that's black, that's white, that's black, that's white, that's black, that's white, and that's black, that's white. But these two tracks are going the other way. White is on this side, black's on that. And the reason for that is when it goes on the up and over, which is over here, at the moment, this edge is white, that's black. But when it goes all the way around and round and comes back down, that slope, it's the other way. And it works out really well for the wiring. It's as simple as that. And when it goes the other way, from anti-clockwise to clockwise, it changes again. So the wiring was pretty simple, as long as I remember to put the inside and outside opposite way around. So I hope that was some use to you. Please don't hesitate to ask questions in the comments if you've got any reasons I haven't explained it good enough. And I hope to do another one in the near future. So that's bye from Colin, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye.